GeneFolio gives us the means to reduce time-consuming trial and error. It helps people feel relief sooner. We're lucky to have it available at this low cost, states Matthew Stanley, doctor, in the article. GeneFolio helps with a wide range of challenges. What is this so-called GeneFolio? Is it effective? Does it really save a significant amount of time and money? These are all questions people have about GeneFolio, and the answers you can get from them are astounding. GeneFolio is great news for anyone looking into a future surgery, pregnancy, mental health issue, cancer, and even more. So what is GeneFolio? The answer to that being fairly easy. GeneFolio is just Avera's genetic testing program. What is genetic testing? Genetic testing is the study of chromosomes, DNA, and the mutations that have occurred to that DNA. The U.S. National Library of Medicine's article, What is Genetic Testing, goes into more depth with molecular genetic tests looking at short strands of DNA to find us mutations within that DNA. An example of this would be any cancer markers in a person's DNA. Biochemical genetic tests looks at differing chemical problems within a sequence of DNA. This is how they look for specific medications that will work for a patient. With there being so many things that these tests can tell doctors, we're going to focus on the big two: cancer markers and personalized medication. A lesser known fact is that some cancers can be caused by genetic mutations. This means that they are detectable in a test environment. These tests are done a lot with the more rare forms of cancers, such as breast cancer in men and retinoblastoma, according to Stacy Simon in her 2018 article, Should You Get Genetic Tests for Cancer Risk, from cancer.org. Knowing the results, they can decide on whether or not to do any preventative actions against cancer. In the case of breast cancer, they would perform a mastectomy, which would remove all breast tissue, and then you would receive implants. Genetic testing is an effective way to prevent any forms of cancer. Medications can have varying strengths depending on each person. Now, those varying strengths can also have varying side effects. This is why genetic testing is used to find the most effective medication for a patient. Blood is drawn and then tested against several medications to find its best fit. Kimberly McKay, MD, talks about a patient in her 2018 article, GeneFolio helps with a wide range of challenges, where a mother-to-be was having pain after her first child's birth. She performed a genetic test and found that her body wasn't metabolizing her pain medication in a way that was useful for her body. There are also people who suffer from taking 5 or more pills in a day. Genetic testing can help those people limit those pills to just 2 to 4 depending on the original amount. Genetic testing is an effective way to help with personalized medication. Now we get to the deciding factor for most people. Does this really save a significant amount of time and money? The answer to that being yes. According to the Mayo Clinic's article, Drug Gene Testing, it only takes 2 weeks to get the results from a genetic test. That may sound like a lot of time, but when you consider the fact that most drugs are trial and error, meaning that they could work and they couldn't, they save a lot of time. Along with the fact that some drugs even require a weaning off time, which means that could last up to 2 weeks to even months. As for cost, it's fairly cheap. Considering the article National Health Expenditures of 2016, written by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, states that the national prescription spending of 2016 was $228.6 billion. Genetic testing is only $180. This could save money for patients around the U.S. So to summarize everything we've talked about, genetic testing is the study of DNA and the mutations to that DNA. Genetic testing is effective in genetic testing is effective in preventing some forms of cancer and personalized medication. Finally, the time you save is well worth the cost of the procedure. Genetic testing is great news for anyone who is looking at problems with their health or problems with their medication.